Everyone, I will begin my speech in 3, 2, 1. This debate is whether or not this is in the interest of the post-conflict states because they want their society to gain unity, stability, and peace. Let's go to our rebuttal. Government says top-down historiography is not relatable. This sounds emotionally attractive, but misunderstands the role of history textbooks in post-conflict states. History textbooks are not primarily there to make every individual feel personally represented. Their role is to create national cohesion, teach institutional continuity, and establish a shared understanding of the country. And the government also keeps saying validation creates shared identity. No, validation often creates separate identities competing for recognition. Shared identity is created through common institutions, common national goals, and common narratives, not endless fragmentation. Government also said validation gives political legitimacy. This is very dangerous in post-conflict societies. Why? Because every group will now demand their suffering recognized more, their version prioritized more, their trauma validated more. So this creates a victimhood competition, grievance politics, and instability. Now, political legitimacy should come from functioning institutions, equal rights, and peace, not from historical pain that gets the most textbook space. Government only proves that people feel emotionally recognized. We prove long-term stability and national cohesion, institutional trust, and prevention of future conflict. In post-conflict states, stability outweighs emotional satisfaction because without stability, reconciliation collapses, violence returns, and society fragments again. So a history textbook cannot heal a nation if every page reminds people why they should distrust each other again. Now, I would like to reframe this debate on where we as opposition believe that in the post-conflict states, history textbooks should focus more on top-down historiography while still including some bottom-up perspectives. Why? Because after conflict, the country's biggest priority is rebuilding stability, creating a shared national identity, restoring trust in institutions, and preventing society from falling into conflict again. Top-down historiography helps create one collective narrative, one sense of nationhood, and one direction for rebuilding. Meanwhile, if textbooks focus too heavily on bottom-up historiography, society may become trapped in competing victim narratives, emotional resentment, and group-based identity politics. Now, why is this motion important? Post-conflict states are fragile. People may still hate each other, distrust the government, carry trauma, and they can actually want revenge. Like after Civil War, after colonialism, or even ethnic violence. So now history becomes very important because they shape how young people see the nation, who they blame, who they trust, and whether they want peace or more conflict. This motion matters. Why? Because one wrong historical narrative can reopen old wounds. So what is wrong with the status quo? The status quo in many post-conflict states, history is already politically sensitive, already emotional, and already contested. So different groups already argue we are the real victims, they opposed us, or they oppressed us, so our vision is correct. The problem is not the lack of voices only. The bigger problem is society fragile and divided. So making textbooks focus mainly on bottom-up historiography can worsen where identity politics happen, victim competition also happens, and distrust between groups also happens. So what the motion is trying to solve is government side thinks that top-down history is dangerous because it often minoritizes, glorifies athletes, hides atrocities, and silence ordinary people. They want marginalized voices included, more empathy, and a more honest historical narrative. We acknowledge this problem exists, but our response here is replacing one extreme with another extreme is not good. If history becomes too centered on localized suffering and competing narrative, post-conflicts countries may struggle to rebuild one collective identity. So our goal is to create a long-term stability, long-term national stability and a shared identity while allowing diverse perspective in a controlled and a balanced way. We're not erasing victims or blindly glorifying government, but ensuring history education helps society hold together instead of reopening divisions. So we as opposition, we want a fast solution, we want a faster peace. In government, they may achieve this, but it's going to take a very, very long time with lots of sacrifices. And we are here to prove our goal and why, and we are here to also prove that government does more harm than good. Now, here is our model. We want to give a better narrative. We also want to give a better leadership. So our narrative does not mean we forget about like the bottom to down like people. We just remember them in a different way. For example, like making statues, museum, and etc. So we are making them as local knows. So let's go to our first argument where top-down historiography is needed to rebuild one national identity. Let's go to our root problem. After conflict, people are divided, maybe because of civil war, colonialism, or even like ethnic conflict. So people already feel that my group suffered the most, their group hurt us, the government betrayed us. So the problem here is people stop thinking as one country. Instead, everybody only protects their tribe, their own religion, their like political side, or their even community. So that is dangerous because conflict can happen again very easily. So schools become very important. Why? Because schools shape how young people think about the nation, other communities, and the future. Let's go to our first mechanism where top-down historiography gives only people one shared story. So like top-down historiography focuses more on national events, governments, institutions, and constitutions, peace agreements, and how the countries survive together. Why is this important? Because post-conflict countries need to think that we are one nation, not my group versus your group. So when students learn one national framework, they slowly build common identity, common goals, and common understanding. This helps people cooperate again. So imagine one classroom after a civil war, and one student is from group A and another is from group B. Now imagine the textbook mostly teaches about how group A suffered, how group B suffered, who betrayed who killed who. So what is gonna happen? Every discussion becomes awkward. One student feels like, wait, your people did that to us, and the other student thinks, but your side also attacked us first. So instead of healing, the classroom becomes a competition of pain. Everybody becomes more loyal to their own group identity. Now let's compare this to the top-down historiography. The teacher explains how the country collapsed, how institutions failed, how violence destroyed the economy, and how peace agreements rebuilt the nation. Now students think, oh wow, conflict ruined all of us. The focus changes from how do I hate to how do we stop this from happening again. That is why top-down historiography matters. Let's go to our second mechanism. Bottom-up focuses can accidentally keep the old hatred alive. Government says validation is important, sure, but too much focus on group suffering can become dangerous. Why? Because every group now wants more recognition, more sympathy, and more validation. Then politics become whose trauma matters more. This creates a victim competition, and in post-conflict state, that is very risky because trauma is still emotionally fresh. Young people never even experience the conflict, may even inherit from anger from history class. So imagine siblings fighting. Their mom tries to fix the situation, but every single dinner or every single day she says, remember when your brother hurt you, or remember when your sister betrayed you? Bro, nobody moves on. So the fight keeps coming back every day. At some point, the family needs a structure, rules, and shared future. Countries are the same. Post-conflict states cannot survive if every generation keeps emotionally reliving on old divisions. I am from the opposition team, proud to oppose.